Oh yeah, thanks you guys. I
Cool.
appreciate
Yeah.
you taking the time to have me on
I
here.
think it's pretty cool what you guys are doing. Very good questions and what a lot of research.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you guys asking me to be a part of this.
That was too cool, bro. And I was between shifts. I'm between shifts right now. I think I'm gonna be between shifts the rest of my life.
Welcome back to the Between Shifts podcast. Today's guest is an artist, professional dad, and creator of Dad Braids. From global murals to braiding his daughter's hair, his work is all about creativity, connection, and family, and it's touched millions around the world. Please welcome Strider Patton. Did I nail the pronunciation there? Okay, cool. Cool. I meant to check with you before that, but
Strider.
Strider.
Striker, slasher, spider, slayer. Heard them all growing up. Yeah.
What's the most typical mess up?
Probably like straighter, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, when I say it, people are like, it's always like, is it with an I or a Y? And then I'm like, I.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, exactly.
Is it from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Mom was a fan.
Oh,
Mom read it when she was little. Convinced dad somewhere along the way. And here we are.
I was going to say they named a kid's bike after you.
I know, dude. Once those came out, I was like, I was first.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of mom and dad, where did you grow up? Where does your story begin?
Started in San Francisco, 1985. Grew up in Marin in the Terra Linda neighborhood of San Rafael. And when I was 5, my sister joined the family, and it was right when my mom's dad in Iowa was started to die of cancer. So family moved to Iowa, where my mom still had quite a bit of family. And I grew up in a small farm town, like 3,000 people, and always came back to the Bay, to San Francisco, to visit family. Got family in Marin and Sonoma. And so always had this kind of back and forth.
Nice. And now you're a healthy distance away from family, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much. My dad is still in San Rafael up in Marin, cousins in Sonoma, uncle in Sonoma.
Nice.
But I really don't see him that often now that my dad's starting to get old. So I am starting to see him a bit more to help out. But mom's in Iowa, and all my wife's family is out of state too. So it's just us with a couple kids out here.
Nice. Well, what were you old enough to remember the contrast between moving from San Francisco to Iowa at 5?
Yeah, I think I understood it. I remember just kind of being sad, just, my friends and stuff. But I mean, 5 years old, that's like still so young now to look back. Like I don't remember that much, but I remember like, yeah, just kind of being excited too. But yeah, it wasn't like a horrific thing by any means.
Yeah. But you're probably like, where did all the people go?
Pretty much.
Why is nobody walking down the street all hours of the day?
Yeah.
And I was growing up in Iowa, like, I don't know, cow tipping and getting all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, pre-social media, it was pretty fun. I mean, like something I think about with kids and just the world today with so much entertainment all the time. It's so easy that I think back then, like early 90s, this would be mid 90s. It was like, you gotta be creative to make your own fun. Yeah. And in a town as small as mine, it really is kind of like luck of the draw with your class and like the people in it.
Yeah.
And I had an amazing class. I had like just wonderful, wonderful friends, still keep up with lots of them. And they were all like, we just had a lot of fun. And we had like a major ability to have like freedom and play that I would not have had in California. Like we were off on our bikes in the morning, gone absolutely all day, no phones, no nothing, and just be home when the street lights are on.
Yeah.
And building forts in the woods, going to the pond, like, you name it. It was fun.
Did you have a lot of lakes and rivers around you?
There was a big river kind of flowing by, but it was like very dangerous too. It's like a lot of flooding would happen there. So there's always like trees and stuff. So like no one ever went on it. It's a very dangerous river.
Yeah.
But tons of farm ponds. Yeah. Never did cow tipping, but I definitely lit some up with paintballs. And then you do not want to see a farmer come banging on your neighbor's door when their cows come home just covered in paintballs. It is not fun. So, just boys being boys, causing trouble. Nothing too serious, but nothing too light either. Sometimes.
Yeah. Would you say memories like that are kind of what planted the seed for your creativity and just what led you into this part of your life?
My dad is an artist, and so he built large-scale steel sculptures, like in public space. So if anyone ever flies to Eastern Iowa Airport in Cedar Rapids, probably the biggest sculpture he ever made there is 15 feet tall, 40 feet wide, 8 people running with their luggage like they're late to an airplane. It's amazing. And so I grew up in his studio just learning how to use my hands, learning tools, learning materials, and more importantly, just kind of him very much so teaching me how to bring ideas and concepts to life in a physical form. And so his dad, my grandpa, was also a painter. So it's kind of just always been in the family. And it's just a part of life, and that's what I hope I'm bringing to my family and my kids is I love people who blur the lines between art and life, because the more blurry there, the more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. What a great answer.
Let's have another beer.
Then, I mean, with your dad, does he have any stuff that's in the Bay Area?
He does over in Marin. Let's see, not Terra Linda. Oh man, it's by Larkspur. What is the word of the road? It's a shopping center. I'm blanking on it now, but he has one of the most beautiful pieces he ever did. It's just a reclining woman kind of up on her elbow, lying down on this little grassy hill at an entrance to the shopping center, and it's called Tamalpais, the mountain there, because it's supposed to be the curve of a woman lying, and it's amazing. So it's cool. A classic piece of his. It's one of the best ones he's ever done, and it's there. So
and very rooted in the I don't know, history, culture of that place.
Yeah. His parents, my grandparents, moved to Larkspur back in the 60s, which brought the family to the area.
Oh, cool. So has your dad seen the big horse on its hind legs in Denver? A scary horse. I forget what it's called. It's got the red eyes.
Oh man, I don't think
terrifying.
So. He does not know how to use the internet. He's never used a computer. He's I don't know how he would have seen it. Maybe in a magazine or something.
Oh, it's terrifying. It's all blue, and there's already the conspiracy theories of the Denver airport where there's the weird stuff going on underneath. But you're driving in or out, whichever way you're going, and there's this huge horse just like this with dark red eyes, and it's blue. I remember being what the hell, dude? Well, further on in your story, did you end up in Colorado before college or after college?
No, I got out of Iowa as fast as possible. Okay. Right when I graduated high school, I was ready to just flap my wings and go. And my mom went to college in Boulder. So we went on family vacation to Colorado a few times, and coming from the flats of Iowa, I was just oh man. And I was really into camping and the outdoors and hiking and mountaineering and everything. So I was dude, Colorado's the place to go. And so, as soon as I graduated high school, took off and spent about 8 years total in Colorado, mostly in Durango in the Southwest. Before that, just 2 years up kind of by Aspen, Glenwood Springs. Went to community college there, got in-state transfers, and then finished in Durango with the 4-year degree.
Awesome. Yeah, that's I'm heading to Colorado in 2 weeks.
Nice.
To where the hell am I going? Land in Denver. I'm going to, where's it called? Boulder.
Yeah.
Going to Boulder because my girlfriend's brother lives in a small town outside of Boulder, but we're going snowboarding.
Oh,
long story short,
nice.
that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Do you know what resort you're going?
Loveland.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. There's not much snow there right now, which I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I don't check snow reports there anymore, but if they don't have snow.
Yeah, nowhere. Yeah. So have you been to Loveland then?
I think I did ride there one time, like my first couple years in the state. Glenwood Springs is like a lot closer to the Front Range, like Denver and that. So we would go to Vail, Breckenridge, and like A Basin and Keystone and some of those places.
Awesome.
So closer to the Front Range. And I think we did do one day over there, but I don't know.
And you never look back since leaving Iowa?
No, I kind of said like I wanted to distance myself. I just wanted to go like to the world. Like I was eager. I was like, let's go, guys. I'm pumped. I am ready. Like I want to go travel. And that's just something my parents put in me. And, but looking back and now, especially becoming a dad, I really, really appreciate the childhood that I had. And yeah, so that's, we go back and visit, and I got to bring my son. My son's never visited, so got to go in fall or spring. Summers are brutally hot and the winters are brutally cold.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a big part of what we keep hearing about when we interview artists is having the freedom of expression at a young age, because then it also translates into their work in the future. But I was curious to see what you were saying. Of course, you had freedom of expression, leaving all day and getting lost in the woods.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interplay between like creativity, curiosity, and freedom. Mm-hmm. And when you mix those things together, it's literally where everything comes from the clothes we wear to these mics to our cars to the music we listen to. Like everything is made. Mm-hmm. And so you got to create the spaces for kids, but people to be able to pursue their interests, because that's where everything comes from.
Definitely. Yep. Definitely. Well, so what did you end up getting your degree in when you finished up in Durango?
Cultural anthropology. So tons of job opportunities there.
Yeah.
Just had so many options with anthropology.
So you got your degree in cultural anthropology in Durango, and then you went to San Francisco to study it further? Is that what happened? Okay.
Yeah. I graduated Durango in like 20, I don't know, maybe like 2009. 2010, something like that.
Okay. And
then I just bummed around for a few more years. And, in Durango, it's like you major in snowboarding and you minor in anthropology. It's like, it's an outdoor enthusiast town. But I was just like Durango, it's such a wonderful place. I absolutely adore it. But I also kind of got the feeling that it was like Neverland. Mm-hmm. It's like I could see myself just existing here and this year repeating the rest of my life. And I would be so happy. But I had to like try something new, and just, I had to go. And like I said, like always coming back to the Bay, I was like, I've never lived in a city, so I would like to go do that. I was getting I was really starting to get more into my own art in Durango at the time. It was like, growing up, I would draw, I would make stuff with my dad. But then in like high school, I kind of got into photography, and then in college, I kind of got into like graphic design. And then out of college, I started to get into painting, and I was really interested in like murals and street art. And I was like, all right, none of that happened in Durango. So like, we got to go to the city, guys. And I was curious, like I chose anthropology because it was like, I didn't know what to do at college, and I just kept trying all these different classes. And that was the one I didn't even know what it was until I read the description for the class. I was like, this sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, I got to pick something. And this is like the one field that like I would read these books, even if you told me like I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And so I just went with that, and I kept being curious about it and kept reading after, my 4-year. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to look for like continuing my education. So I found a master's program in San Francisco, and there I got to jump into the city and really start going after my art. And there I got to combine my interests in culture and community with public art. And that's like kind of where like these two major, it was like an inflection point. There's like these two interests of mine got woven together, and like it was kind of a light bulb moment.
Yeah, definitely. What was the city like when you moved there?
I mean, it was so exciting. It was so fun. So 2012, I moved in. My best friend from Durango, we were roommates there. We moved out together, and he's in nightlife, and he's a DJ, and he still is. And he's like got himself an incredible job. Like he's a lifer. And I got to marry him this summer in Santa Cruz on the beach. It was so epic.
Nice.
But yeah, we were both just like a couple hungry, curious guys, and we're like, let's go to the city, guys. And we lived in Soma. We got some old barber shop that we like there was nowhere we could find a rent. And so I remember we were just walking around the neighborhoods, and I saw these guys like working on a commercial space, and I just poked my head in, and they're just like, contractors. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, is this space spoken for? They're like, I don't know. Here's the guy's information. And I called him up. I was like, if you don't have anyone coming in here, my friend and I would love to lease it. And they said yes.
Wow.
We weaseled our way in there.
Was it like a frontage? Like
it was street
space?
level, like tall ceilings, glass. We had like roll cages to close it. We just like hung curtains in there just so like people wouldn't look in and see us living.
That's pretty sick.
That was cool.
It's like a crazy neighborhood down around there. Like I go back there now, I'm like, I lived here. Like my
Was it like on Market Street or close by?
like 2 blocks off. Yeah. It was like Howard and 9th.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
That was also, you moved back the same year Giants won the World Series too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's a
must have been fun.
big time in the city.
I remember going to the parade on Market Street. Yeah.
Nice.
That was wild.
I haven't made it to a parade yet. I haven't been of drinking age for a parade yet. I should say that. That sounds like the fun part.
They ain't checking age there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I wanted to go back a little bit and be like, oh, what were you doing for work when you were in Colorado?
Pretty much work was always like restaurants. Like I started like when I landed in Colorado, I just found some brewery and was like, you guys need, a busser or something? They're like, no. But then I'll never forget, like the kitchen chef came in. He's like, so-and-so quit, our dishwasher. And I was just like, I'll do it. They're just like, you're hired. I was like sick. And I got in there and it was just such a nasty job. They were just like running, huge breakfasts. I remember that, just like all the maple syrup and like pancakes and eggs. And I'm just like, the drain was always clogging and coming up. And I was just like, oh my God. And I only did like a few weeks there. Then they're like, good job, buddy. You come up to busser. And
Nice.
Just worked my way up there. I loved the like camaraderie and the livelihood of like a restaurant. And I worked in many restaurants and bars and stuff pretty much thereafter.
Plus free beer while you're in college.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
That was my favorite part too.
Yeah, it was pretty nice to have like quality beer instead of Keystone Light.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, I always loved anthropology classes when I was taking them. And it seems pretty natural to like find a way to mix that in with art because, they kind of go hand in hand. But how was that for you when you kind of finally realized that you could and like were able to do that?
Yeah. That's kind of like the light bulb moment. I said didn't happen until like after my first semester. It was just, one of those things in life where you're just like, you're so in your stuff that you can't see like the logical next step. And for some reason, I just remember so clearly kind of being like, oh my God, and I got a job at a gallery in the city too. So it was like the street art gallery. And so I was like meeting like real professional muralists and like artists that were making a living from it, like people coming in from around the world to have shows there and stuff. And it was like an education in itself. And at the same time, I'm like in grad school, and that's very intense. And I had them like separated for like the first semester. And then I finally was like, oh my God, like, bring them together. Like art and anthropology, like art and culture are so woven together, they're almost inseparable. So finally I kind of saw that, and And then I added a layer of like more specificity, which was art in public space and what that does for communities. And so San Francisco is an incredible place, especially the Mission District,
Yeah.
with all of the cultural murals there, celebrating heritage, dreaming of possibilities of the future. And so that kind of was like, oh, this is really fascinating to learn about the history of art in different cultures, and especially that in public space, which kind of then opened up the door to thinking about like urbanism and how our cities are constructed and how people move through space and who owns spaces and who gets to decide what happens in those spaces and how those spaces look. And so with those items right there on a table, like there are endless ways to kind of play around and look within that. But it was like learning about that and getting this incredible education from the gallery is where I first got to like start, like get apprentice almost with some other like community projects, which then gave me the, history to then start to launch some of my own community projects.
Definitely.
And what was the first like paid for your art gig that you got?
Man, I think it was at a restaurant, and that's just one of those hard things, it's like you want to start getting paid and people are like, cool, let me see your portfolio. And you're like, I don't got one yet, but I promise I'll deliver, it's a chicken or the egg thing. And, how to forget, it was like a friend who became a art consultant, was working with a restaurant, and she was like, hey, can you do a mural in here? I was like, yeah, for sure. And that was the first one. And then you just keep stacking them until you got a good portfolio, and then you can have a job.
How do you even go about preparing for your first mural?
Oh my God, it's so terrifying. Like back then too, like I wasn't at a point, like now I have like a style that I have been experimenting in and playing around with. And I work with incredible designers and consultants who have clients, and they work with the clients, and the clients have, a vibe that they want for a space. And they're like, Strider would be great for this. So now I'm fortunate to have been in the game kind of long enough that like, I have those relationships and people like will come to me, but in the early days, like, you're knocking on doors and you're just trying to get those first like 10 finished pieces. And back then, like I didn't have my style yet. I was still very early, and like I never went to art school or anything. So I was just playing around. And, you can say to any artist, I bet like in the early days for paid gigs, it's like, you're going to do your best to get the client like their vision, and that's totally great. And some professional artists still do that today. Like everyone's got their own way, but I'm very grateful to be kind of at a place where, I still today love to work with a client in terms of like shape, form, color, and feeling. But like I say to some, they're like, oh, can you like do this building? And I'm like, I'm an abstract artist. Like here's my stuff. I will work with you for sure, but like don't go to a master sushi restaurant and ask for lasagna. And I got tons of friends that I gladly will point you to. These guys can pull it off. I cannot paint buildings or animals or stuff like that.
So is the muralist community in the Bay Area pretty tight?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's, I was just like, I went to like a music festival this last year, Portola up in the city, and my friend was playing in it, and I was just like looking at the sheet with just like a million artists lined up, and I'm like, I know like 3 people on this sheet. And when I was 25, I bet I would have known like 75%. Yeah. And so I know that that's the same with like muralists, and like, there's tons of up and comers now that I don't know. And to tell you the truth, like I've been kind of backing off of the mural projects with focusing on other things, which I'm sure we'll get into. So I'm kind of like, I'm just want to follow my creativity and my enthusiasm with whatever it is, because I just want to focus my creativity on what is exciting. And that's kind of started to shift to other things.
Definitely.
And that was one of our recent guests that we had,
Julie Engelman.
Yeah.
She did the mural on the side of Cunha's Market.
I love that.
Yeah, she did that one.
So
and then
good.
The one on the IDES hall as well. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Oh yeah.
She's very talented. She did one in Colma. She's done a couple now all over. So,
But I feel like, she's in that like kind of, well, she's already doing massive pieces, but it's really cool to see the similarities between where it's like, getting started, and then once you're at that point, you can be like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And if I'm not for the job, then I'm not for the job.
Yeah. Because it's just about respect at the end of the day. It's like, I could try this and I'll hate it and it probably won't be that good and you probably won't like it, client, and it'll just turn into a whole horrible thing. But my friend here is so talented, and I'm just, push things like just let it go. Just give. Another artist is going to get paid. They're better than me. The client's going to be happier. Everyone's going to be happier. And I will not be stuck in a project that I am like detesting and ripping my hair out.
And I'm sure it'll come around too.
For sure. Yeah. We like, for the friends that I still have in the mural scene, like we all help each other out with exactly that.
Yeah.
It's like, this ain't me, but here's two others.
Well, I mean, so before we just continue on with the last thing with the whole mural thing, you've gotten paid to travel to do murals as well. So where's the coolest place that you've been paid to travel to do
Man, I think my favorite project was right before my daughter was born. So 2018, me and two friends went to like a very rural town in Cambodia. Wow. And it was like my friend Ian Ross, super established, well-known muralist in the Bay, and his wife Danielle. They were running at the time this nonprofit called One Brush Initiative, which was like, we'd go out and we would work with communities, schools, and do, very much community-led mural projects, which is a totally other thing now that I'm saying it compared to like what I was just speaking about, which is kind of like my professional side, which is like mostly commercial spaces, like tech companies, lots of biotech recently, colleges, hotels, convention centers, that like big stuff like that. Then there's like the community side, which is kind of where my anthropology came into it, which is like, let's go into a community, let's host some drawing and workshops, let's work with different people in that community, organizations or individuals, and learn about what they would like represented on their walls, because they're the ones that are going to be living there all day, every day after I'm gone. And so that's what One Brush did. And I still try to do some. It's been a couple of years since I've had kids, but I'm really itching to do a great community project again, because they're so fulfilling. It's just amazing. And we got to do one in a small school out in Cambodia, and that was wild. The only place I've been in Asia, I mean, way off the beaten path, and the people are just so wonderful. And man, what an experience.
Yeah. And how long would you spend on a project like that, like out in the place?
It really depends on, basically the first thing you want is like wall size and square footage. And then on a community project, it's like, that's like Cambodia, and there's like, it's a whole world away, and we don't have a ton of time just to go there and like get the information before we started. So it was like, we worked with the teachers of the school remotely just to like start getting some questions in the community and the school about like what themes they would like represented. And we started to work on sketches even before we left, because they're like, we would like, before you guys come all the way here and we say no, like, let's see what you got. But projects in the United States, definitely in the Bay, sometimes it's like weeks and months of workshops and engagement with the community before you paint. And then depending on the wall size and how detailed and complex the design is, also how many volunteers you have. Like I did a big project in my hometown in Iowa, and it was like a whole city block. It was like 250 feet wide,
Oh, wow.
10 feet tall. And I was like, all right, we're breaking it up into like 6 scenes or 4 scenes to represent the 4 seasons. And then I just like took a projector out at night, outlined everything. And we had like, cause it's a small town, like literally every kid in town got to play a part in painting the mural.
Oh, that's cool.
And
That's awesome.
I was just like, we had the elementary kids like bussing up, and we had like, it was just paint by number, you know, I just wrote numbers on the wall, and here are like little red Solo cups with a paintbrush and your paint, go fill it in. And like the first bus load, like lit that thing up. It was like so fast. I was like, oh my God, guys, like we're going to have to, I feel bad for the kids tomorrow. Like they're just going to have to do second coats. They like filled it up, man. I was like, wow. I'm going to have a few extra days at the end of this trip because these guys went to work.
Yeah. Like, maybe I should get some cheap labor like that more often.
Send 400 children.
Yeah.
Like, get this done fast.
It's a project. So when you did that Cambodia project, had you already met your wife?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. That was probably like 5 years into us. 4.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys meet?
It was like a Tuesday night, San Francisco. Was going into work at the restaurant, got called off.
Oh.
It's like sick. Buddy hit me up. He's like, hey, another friend from the restaurant, Mia, she's in a play. You're off. I'm off. Let's go see Mia's play. I was like, let's go. So we went down in the TL and went to this little theater, and the show started, and a woman walked on stage that would be my future wife. And my jaw dropped to the floor, and I waited around after the show for her to exit the theater to say how great she did and introduce myself.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And that's how I met Brooke.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And now you and Brooke also work together, right?
Yeah. I met her at the same time. She was starting her company, which is the Rabbit Hole Children's Theater in San Francisco. It's 11 years now.
Wow.
12, almost 12, I think. But it's in Noe Valley. It is
Nice.
basically like a make-believe studio, I like to call it. It is we do classes during the day, after-school clubs, partner with 15 schools around the Bay Area to send teachers to do after-school programming at schools. And then we have field trips to our theater for puppet shows. And anytime school is out with a holiday in summer, we're doing camps. And it's nothing like training child actors at all. It's really all about self-expression and creativity. You know, It's like with camps, the kids will put on like a show at the end of the week that they wrote. Everything comes from them. And so theater, I learned from my wife, is like, I think like my favorite art form now, because it's really like a collision of like 10 art forms together.
Yeah.
There's script writing, there's music, there's song, there's dance, there's stages, there's lighting, there's costumes. I mean, it's everything mixing together. And so what a beautiful place to kind of create programming for kids just to like play and have fun. But really what we're doing deep down is like really trying to nourish self-expression.
Yeah. Creativity.
Where in Noe Valley?
It's on 24th Street and Diamond.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there's a Phil's Coffee 1 block up there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend used to live in Noe.
Oh, wow.
And it's before that, I would be like, oh, I got to go to San Francisco, you know, like not that I've always had a lot of fun going to the city, but Noe was like, oh, just pull up to her house. Like there's always parking.
Yeah.
Like there's people walking with their babies and strollers. Like,
yeah,
it is a very nice part of the city. I love hanging out in Noe, and you can still close enough to like, I mean, 24th is, I don't want to say essentially Mission, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah, just drop right down in the Mission, super easy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a wonderful little little community. She started it in the Mission when I met her in an old Sears building that was converted into artist live workspaces. So it was like this super funky old Sears, like on Cesar Chavez and Mission. And then she moved it up to Noe 2 years after that. And yeah, it's still there. So we still go there, which makes it super easy from Half Moon Bay. It's like 30 minutes. So like,
so easy.
Dude, we could live in another place in San Francisco and would take us longer to get to our company. Yeah. But being on the south side of the city, we can just zip right up there.
San Jose exit, Dolores for 5 minutes, and then you're there.
It's so easy.
David's got it wired.
Yeah.
So is that where, this is also where the puppeteering comes into play?
Oh yeah. Puppets have become a major part of my life. I just love it. It's like, when Brooke was starting the company, like any business, it's like we were doing absolutely everything, absolutely everything. So I've worn every hat in that company, but now thankfully she is so established and she's got an amazing team of like 12 people, and they're just a wonderful group of different artists, performers, singers, just all kinds of creatives. And I still mainly do like a lot of the building. So I've built tons of puppet stands. I make some at the studio. I'm about to do this like massive build out. I'm stoked on, like the most professional puppet stage yet. After 11 years, man, I'm giving it everything. But yeah, we also do lots of ones on the road. So I love doing we made some cool like mobile puppet stands, and we do huge shows like at the SF Botanical Gardens. We just did a huge one last summer at Filoli over there.
Oh yeah.
So
Crystal Springs.
We're hoping to do some more with them and other places like that, and just start to like step out wider around the Bay. So yeah, I love building the puppet stands and stuff, and sometimes I'll get back there and still do some, but now I'm working on building the actual puppets.
And this is more than sock puppets.
Yes. Yeah. It's taken off now. My social media feed is like a mixture between like Japanese woodworking and puppeteering and hair braiding. So.
Yeah, there you go. So have you done a mural at the studio then?
Back in the day, I like just like a logo, just like nothing my style by any means. But yeah, I've done several.
Was the client happy?
I got a child out of it. Firstborn. I would say that was a big win.
Yeah, definitely.
So before we hop into the whole, I don't know, kind of dad braids and all that stuff. I mean, what do murals and public art do for a neighborhood that you think goes mostly unnoticed?
Yeah, I think what I've learned from talking with all kinds of people over the years is no one really thinks about public space and what happens there and the effect of that on people until I ask them. Like it's, just like with any curiosity, like we're all in our own worlds. And sometimes you bump into someone else and they bring something and you're like, I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Which was like my wife with this, she was like, I never, ever thought like I would see a mural or something and be like, that's nice. But what I really enjoyed learning about and then like putting into practice is how artwork around us, I think just kind of always puts out, like a vibe, and that's why in some spaces, you can walk into and there's a feeling that you get. And of course, artwork is subjective, but still there's some pretty, archetypical, direction with some types of art. And when you think about what art would do kind of for your state on a daily basis, like in your house, you could have something that makes you feel very calm, or you can have something that's really attention grabbing and loud, or you could have something that's like, really like makes you think, and it's all feeling. And so thinking about what happens in our shared spaces becomes very important in my way of thinking, because if it has that much of an effect on us as individuals, look at what it can do on communities. And so I think, working with communities on projects that I've done, it's always been interesting to, learn about histories and ideas and how to represent them. But then, also there's lots of mural festivals that happen around the world, and like artists, like big name rock star artists fly in from all over the world, and then they just paint like a 30-foot building and then they leave. And it's like, I'm not here to say if that's good or bad, but the people have to stay there and live with that, And so I think there's a great degree of importance. And then this is where like I got super deep in college, was thinking about how our cities and spaces are built. And for most of us in the United States, we're on a grid system, which was made very recently, and it was made number one to move automobiles. And it was like people are second. And that really says something, and you've seen these like different levels of urbanism that have evolved in the United States to address this, and people rethinking how to incentivize pedestrian travel to get rid of cars, and then how to transform public spaces with parks and also artwork that can engage and bring people together and tell a story. And so I think until you're aware of it, it's like the red and blue pill, it's like, do you want to see it or do you not? And once you start to see it, you'll be like, oh man, like, why is this, like, this neighborhood has always like really had a rough time, and there's overhead highways, and there's just tons of sound, noise, and traffic, and like, what effect does that have on people all day, every day?
Yeah.
And how can we rethink that to maybe put people first and worry about their health first?
That's one of the coolest parts about Noe Valley, was how they did like the quiet streets or whatever, like during, I think that started during COVID, slow streets, where it's like residents only driving on them.
Yeah.
And made it awesome, because you can just go for a walk.
Yeah.
And it made it so much easier. Like the difference between walking on a sidewalk with cars blocking you in on one side, businesses there, and then just like walking in the middle of a street. It's a big difference.
Yeah. My wife and I went to New York a few years back, and like she lived over in Brooklyn, and she was like, we went to these like gorgeous like water, riverside parks now that are just like, I mean, these people like really incredible urban designers really set up to bring people together, to create spaces. There's awesome playground for the kids. There's some like tiered seating for just like people to hang. There's grass. There's like, you're walking along the water. It's like very well thought through. And she was just like, this was just empty buildings before, and like now it's like, look at all this life that's brought there. And that's from like really thought out planning and, just thinking public space differently. And art plays a massive role in that. What murals or sculptures, it's important.
Yeah. I really enjoy the murals that have a story behind the town as well. Like Julie did a really good job with that one on the side of Cunha's, with touching on not only the importance of farmers, but also farm laborers in this town and how this town was built,
Yeah.
So it's really, I really enjoy a good story behind the mural, but now I'm going to see exactly what you're talking about, how it affects it, and how it brings, what type of energy the art brings into the community. And I'll have my eye out now. I was kind of like your wife. I would always like see one. I'd be like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah.
And then move on. But now that I've talked to yourself, and then Julie and Mark also, like Mark, you're putting yourself in such a vulnerable place as an artist as well, by trying to depict the town and the town's culture, but also just like throwing yourself in the mix.
Oh,
and it feels like
it can be so hard, because like, I don't know if you've ever seen like that show Parks and Rec back in the day, but like there's these like classic scenes of her up there at a town hall, and people just like, bah, 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 just like, I have been in that position where I'm just like,
I'm sure.
Here's the design, and people are like, because it's artwork. It's like all subjective, of course, but at the end of the day, it's like, guys, we are putting a mural on this building. We've already decided, but like it's subjective. I get it. And people want certain things depicted and certain things not. And it's like a very different thing than like a studio artist. Like if you're in your studio just doing paintings, that's a lot different than being in a room with 400 people at a town hall, really excited to share their opinion.
And then kind of on the topic of how you're talking about an artist just like flying in, throwing up a massive mural and then just leaving. I mean, like for you to do a project, is there a certain amount of like passion or like creativity that you're allowed in that project to be able to want to do it? Because I know like there's definitely some artists like that where that might be coming from more like a monetary standpoint, their motivation to do something like that.
Yeah, I think the community engaged people are a different breed for sure. It's not for everyone, and again, not saying anything should be this or that, but it takes a certain kind of person, and I think there's a certain level of heart that goes into it, because in my experience, those haven't been nearly like monetarily as great as like the commercial projects for like private spaces by any means. But the heart is 10 million times what it is to put, a mural up in another tech office.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're two very different things. And yeah, it's just who you are and like what you want to do. But like my folks always just instilled, like my mom is just still such an engaged community member in her town with all these panels and committees she's on. She's just always working on the next park, and like the dog park she initiated and got built, and it took like 7 years, and that was just another notch on her belt. I was like, so I grew up just really valuing, community involvement and being a part of making a place better for the rest of us.
Yeah. What have been some of the biggest realizations or something that you're really happy with about the community here in Half Moon Bay?
Man, just a very, very welcoming group of people. Like my wife and I came down here. We would always get our Christmas tree, and Santa's Tree Farm.
Dang it. My family is Coslino 4C's Christmas trees on 92.
All right, we're coming to you now.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Go see Uncle Jimmy.
Nice. All right. Winner 26. There.
Okay, sorry, but what were you saying?
Yeah, so like we had come down here for that, but that was it. And then it was during COVID. My daughter was 4 months old when COVID hit, and so like all the lockdowns and everything, and then several months later, maybe she was 1, like the first kind of like lift to be like, hey, you can see your family in person again. We're like, cool. So there was like 2 babies born in our family. And so like 12 of us all came out here and rented a house to be like, we got to meet. We haven't seen each other in over a year. There's 2 new babies. Let's all go. And that was our first time like staying down here. And like, it was during COVID, so not like wonderful, but we were like, oh my God, this is so nice. And like, we had to like jump up into the city. We're like, half an hour? That was it? That's all the drive? And that kind of like unlocked it for us. And then we like started to kind of think about moving down here. And once we did, just meeting such wonderful people from, just playgrounds and out on hiking trails to the beach. And I just would say like, I don't know, it strikes all the right chords in me coming from a small town. Like I love seeing, like, I drove in here now and there's, 2 guys on horseback riding into town. And I'm like, that's so cool. Yeah. Like, that is the best. Sometimes to see the horses out San Benito House and like, I'm like, this place is awesome. Yeah. And we're still here in the Bay. Like I can go up. I went to a rave like a month ago in the city and it was epic. Yeah. And so it's a perfect place kind of for my upbringing. It's like I, told you guys, like I've always kind of walked the line with like mud in my boots and city lights in my eyes. Like I'm always been kind of pulled and I never know where to go. But like as a family chapter right now, there's nothing better than my daughter has a walkie-talkie with her neighbor next door, and they like talk and they can run back and forth between their houses, and it's safe, and I can see the stars at night, and I can hear sea lions, and I can jump in the city and go to a rave. Go to an art museum. That's great.
Definitely. Should utilize the city more. I literally go to the city like 3 times a year.
I know my girlfriend got Gavin and his girlfriend to come out to like Halloween in the city with us, and like it's a lot of fun.
It was fun, yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's my birthday next week, and we're going to a great restaurant, and it's fun to go and soak it all up and then get the hell out of there.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Want to get your business in front of a loyal local audience? Between Shifts brings coastside stories to life with real conversations, local legends, and plenty of laughs. Sponsorships include custom ad reads, shout-outs in episodes, and visibility across all our socials, all designed to connect your brand with engaged listeners who support local. Now, please email betweenshiftspod@gmail.com for any inquiries. Thank you.
All right, well, let's get into Dad Braids. How did the idea of Dad Braids come about?
Man, people ask this all the time, and it's just, I remember when we found out we were having a girl, for whatever reason, I had this image of just like sitting on stairs together, her below me, and just like braiding her hair. No clue why. I definitely love knots and stuff. I love Cub Scouts, and like, and I'm an artist. Like, I just love working with my hands and like very tactile things. But, I was like, all right, we got a girl and she is bald. So we waited almost 3 years until the hair was long enough. And by that time, it was still like, COVID was lifting for sure. San Francisco was opening back up. So like we left during COVID to go stay with family out of state. My wife's from Vegas. She has a huge side of the family there. We went there and just like chilled for 9 months. And then San Francisco said, we're opening up. So we're like, let's go back, opening up the rabbit hole. And like all of my big mural projects were definitely on pause, on hold. But then things started to open up, but it was right around then that like, I was just like, we're all stuck up inside, just like, what are we doing? I'm very grateful because I got to be with my girl all day, every day. It's time I would not have had otherwise. But I just remember one day I'm going to learn to braid her hair, and it's long enough now. So I did anything any millennial dad would do. I got onto YouTube and I'm like, let's learn this stuff. And I just remember learning how hard it is. So like instantly, I'm just like, oh my God, this is way harder than I thought it was. Sure, anybody can just like grab hair and put it into a ponytail. But I was like, no, man, like I'm an artist. I'm gonna get this. All right. Yeah. And I got nothing but time. So I started to just get practice and get better and better. And like, for whatever reason in my mind, like the French braids, like double French braids was like, that was the goal. Yeah. And I got a couple and I was like, all right, I'm there. I'm almost there. And then one day, like I just nailed it. They were so good. And I was like, so pumped. I put my little 3-year-old precious daughter in the cutest dress, and we walked up the street to the playground in San Francisco, and I just want to show her off. It worked because this woman came over and she was like, your hair looks so great. Did your mommy do your braids? And she just looked at her and she pointed to me and she said, Dad Braids. And that woman looked at me and I was like, boom, baby. Like, yes. Yes. Like moment of approval, trophy above the head, just like did it. And I will never forget, like her jaw just dropped. And then she said it. She was like, you could teach my husband a thing or two. And I was like, okay, whatever. And but that planted a seed, and my daughter started like a daycare, and I kept getting better and better. And then word got out in the daycare that it was me doing the hair, and like my wife cannot braid, and she was like, I'm happy you know how, because I was afraid my daughter was not going to have good hair. And I was just getting super into it, and it was fun. And then like people at the daycare were like, you do the hair? And like the dads at the playground I was making friends with, they're like, you do that? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, how do you? I'm like, let me show you. Come here. And I was like giving tips. And then I was like, man, if these guys are asking and like other moms are asking and like I'm already doing it every day, how about I just set up a phone and start capturing video and putting it out there?
Yeah.
And that took like 2 years for me to even do that. So now she's like 4.5 about, and I was like, and like actually it was the week my son came home. So my son is almost 2. So Dad Braids has been almost 2 years now. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's just go for it. And I just thought, yeah, hey guys, I've been learning to braid hair and it's super fun. And it's a wonderful like moment that I used to think was a chore, but now it's a moment of connection that I get every day with my girl. And that means everything because I'm here to be a better dad. And it's super fun. So it's like, it's very challenging and it's super fun once you get the basics, you know. And I posted it and the first couple of videos are like, and then it just ripped, just absolutely took off unlike anything I've ever experienced. I've been on Instagram 12, 15 years with my art and I have like 12,000 followers. And that was annihilated in like 12 days with Dad Braids. Jesus. Just like gone.
That's impressive.
Absolutely insane. Like I think like we were on the national news because I hit up CBS Bay Area and was like, last Father's Day, I was like, hey, if you guys want a good Father's Day story, here's a crazy one. Like local dad falls in love with braiding. And
I saw that article.
Yeah. I was like, they're like, this is great. And they did it in the Bay first. And then they were like, a nationwide wants to pick this up. And so it went national. It was just so funny. But because of that, they're like, can you look up the numbers? And I was like, holy crap. Like I did it was like something like 50 million impressions.
Wow.
Like
that's insane.
Less than 100 videos, just bonkers.
And what was that time frame like from when it took off to the national news?
Less than a year. It was like,
oh my gosh,
it was like 10 months or something, 12 months. It was about a year because when my son was born, it all times up pretty much within a week of Father's Day, like remarkably.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And I
mean, what was it like finding out that you had gone viral? Was it like you just go to bed one night and then you wake up and it's just absolutely crazy?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, with my art and everything, it's like I was trying so hard with Instagram and like trying to be like this cool artist and stuff. And like, and this is like what all the great teachers in the world say. It's like I'm a big like follower of like Taoism and stuff. And it's like, be like water, just like let it go. Just like, don't try, just do. The more you try, the more tension there is. But when you let go, things flow. And with Dad Braids, it was fun. And I was just like, let's just do this and let's see. And it just cranked. And at first it's like, you know, insane for someone that was trying so hard with social before and getting like almost nowhere. And so it's, I don't know, and now I'm so desensitized to it. It's like, you know, my wife was next to me the other day when I opened up Instagram. It's like 15,000 new followers. She's like, what? What? And I'm like, I don't sure.
So are you able to, because I have no idea how it works, but with Instagram, are you able to make some money just off of views?
No.
YouTube
is the only platform that does that as far as I'm aware. Like people say that with TikTok, but like I went on there, I'm like, I've never found, they're like TikTok pays. I'm like, maybe I'm just not figuring it out hard enough. I don't know, but no. The only platform that actually pays you for your views is YouTube, and their short form, I think it's long form that they pay you for. Like the short form is not the same. So yeah, I mean, when it took off, of course, all the adults in my life are like, how are you going to monetize it?
Yeah.
And I was just like this is so pure. This is like so pure. And like, seriously, like the messages and long DMs and emails I will get from people around the world that this simple act has changed their relationship with their daughters and for their families is like, so it's the most fulfilling thing I have ever done. Like I told my wife, like 12 years of art and 12 months of Dad Braids, like I feel so much more. I know without a doubt the impact I have with this simple, very niche thing is so much greater than anything I've ever done with art. So.
And I really like how you tack that aspect onto it of like the connection with your daughter, the extra connection with your daughter is what I should say.
Yeah. We come for the braids, but we stay for the bond.
There you go.
It's like, yeah, it's really,
dude, you have some great punchlines. Like even in your bio, cause we ask everybody for a bio, but in your bio, so it was like fun to read.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, and I just think about like if you monetize it, you're like, honey, get over here. I need to braid your hair again.
Yeah. You know? have you run into an issue with recording with your daughter where she's like, I don't want to do it right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. And like, and another thing I should say too, like with me learning, it was like there's tons of other moms who are just doing their daughter's hair and they're going so fast, and sometimes they like speed it up on top of it. And I think what made me different, apart from just being a guy, is I go so slow, and I'm like, guys, let's learn the absolute basics, because most of us here are dads. There's a ton of moms and grandparents and aunts and uncles too, but most of us are dads and we've never worked with long hair. So like, here's how to brush hair. Here's how to do a hair tie. And now let's start with a pony and then a 3-strand braid, and then we'll layer it up. But I go so slow, and so many people write me. They're like, thank you for going so slow. Like you're explaining it so well. And I think that's kind of like another angle that makes me different than so many other awesome accounts. Cause I look at those ladies too. I'm like, oh my God, I want to try that one next. But they're just, they're going fast.
Cranking them out.
Yeah.
And is that like you were talking about how basically the messages that you'll get from dads and kind of the impact that has on you, and is that, I know that definitely wasn't your original goal, but is that something that you pay attention to now and definitely are just like, I don't know if you're like trying to pull at that, but I don't know, what do you hope dads gain from watching that sort of content? Yeah.
So a while ago, I just started, I'm also just like, this is cranking. And I like, to your point, it's like, some days like my daughter's just not going to get her hair done. She's like, and I'm never going to like the last thing I'm going to do, like I will shut this whole thing down tomorrow if it means my daughter's going to get some like phobia or like some weird thing about her hair. Like, nope, that's done. I don't care about the 500K or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so her comfortability and everything is number one. And I also never do like, you can kind of see her side face, but I'm like, we're not like some other accounts are like taking pain, like the girls are just plait their faces on social. And I'm like, like I've always felt very weird about that. And I think that's only increasing in today's weird online world. For sure. So I've always been like
monetizing children.
Yeah. It's like child actors. I'm like, no, not around here. That's not how we roll. Yeah. So I'm very aware of that, and also that my daughter's not going to let me do her hair forever, and it's probably going to happen sooner than I would like, and that's totally good. Yeah. So what else can we talk about? Because I don't want to be a one-trick pony either. So I did start to layer in just some like reflections on parenting, and also, just like kind of more like creativity stuff. And that's, with this long holiday break my family I got some time to kind of like think. And it's like, I got a son now, and I'm like, I'm not growing his hair out. I'm going to be braiding his hair. It's like, what are we going to be doing? What's important to me? What message do like I said, like this is the best thing that I feel like I've ever contributed to humanity, and it can be more than just braids. And so what I'm excited to be implementing is just, a bit more thoughts and everything on life, but also like the things that are important to me are like creativity and self-expression. And so I think there's going to be some like, I want to do some fun, like kind of like art DIY builds and stuff with the kids, and just doing a bit more life stuff. And I think it's also like, you know, me and my wife, like our worlds have always been art and kids. So like we got some fun ways that we've been talking about, kind of like weaving the rabbit hole and Dad Braids together. And also I'm very excited about kind of thinking like, I know there were like dad and daughter braiding classes for sure, like at different salons and stuff throughout time. Not many, but I know that there were, because some people have told me. But, you know, I'm just like, since this has gone very viral, like there have been lots of them that have popped up, and people will tag me in them, and I always share them. I'm like, yeah, you like these guys.
Yeah.
And a few of them wrote me back. They're like, thanks for sharing. You are our inspiration. And I was like, oh, sick. Like these guys saw me, and then they thought to do a dad-daughter in-person braiding class.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I could kind of like decentralize dad braids. And so I just put a call out to the community to be like, is anyone interested in becoming like a local host to your area? And maybe we can have like a network and some like way that we can get people together wherever you are.
Yeah.
Because I've done a few classes in person here, but you know, people are just like, oh my God, I wish I could come, but they're in, you know, Singapore or wherever, and they're like all around the world. And I'm like, I gotta like let this go, because I won't be able to do it forever, but maybe it can keep going. And then the like it's like a message.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of different avenues you can go on that, and that's really cool.
Yeah. And I am monetizing a little bit, because I'm very proud. Like when I started to get into it, I was like, got several brushes and different hair ties and clips, and all of a sudden there's lots of stuff. And just very like, I was completely unaware of this, but I'm like, I got lots of tools. Let me get a toolbox. So I just got this little metal toolbox, and I put everything in it, organized. Great. And I started like, people started to see it in the videos, and they're like, when's the Dad Braids toolbox? We want it. And I was like, oh my God, that would be cool. And I kind of like got some samples from like China, and I was like, yeah, like, and like, it was just, I've never done anything with products and stuff. But then one dad in the community, I put a video out. I'm like, we need like sick t-shirts. Who's a graphic designer? And this one guy wrote me, he's like, hey man, I have 3 daughters. You're saving my life. And my family company is like this major like distributor, and we work with different brands to like do apparel or like bags or like pretty much anything. He's like, I have the networks globally to bring product to life. And I was like, cool about the t-shirts. Can you actually make a blue metal toolbox stocked with a bunch of hair ties and stuff? And he's like, yes.
Oh, that's
and I was
awesome.
like, boom. So we got the Dad Braids toolbox, and it is awesome.
Awesome.
That's
So
really cool.
I'm pumped on that. We sold some good ones this holiday season. I'm proud of that one.
That's awesome. And I if you guys have a second, check out it's dadbraids.com, I believe,
Yeah.
your website. He has this great format for, I believe it's video classes, but it's like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where you go from a white belt up to a black belt, except he does it with hair ties. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing to tie into it.
Yeah. Another thing was just like from the community, people were just writing me. They're like people were getting really into it. They're like, what next? You know, because I'm just making random videos. I'm like, one day it's like how to do a 3-strand braid, like basic. And then the next day it's like a super advanced one. And like people are like, where do I go next? I'm like, there's like no path here.
Yeah.
But then I thought of jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, from day one, you know exactly where you start and exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
You start as a white and you want to get to a black, and there is a system to get there. And I was like, we're doing that, but we're doing it with scrunchies instead of belts, and we're going to like work our way to a pink scrunchie.
The picture is so awesome too, with your hand just like that and all the
Yeah.
the scrunchies.
Yeah. Oh man, that was like, I think like that was a good one. That came to me on a run up there by Pillar Point. I was just like, oh my God, just hit me.
That's kind of like, I loved seeing one thing I saw on Instagram where it was like this dad that's like into hot rods, and he's like rebuilding engines with his daughters.
I've seen him. his
And I'm
two
like-
girls.
And I'm like, that is the sickest thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
They're like covered in grease, just pulling on these wrenches and stuff, firing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. That's so cool.
There's a good show. I believe it's on Discovery. My dad always watches all the car rebuild shows. And there's one where the dad owns the shop and the daughter's like the head mechanic. And
Nice.
it's a pretty cool show.
Oh, that's
honestly.
cool.
I forget
Yeah.
what it's called. I should know it by now, but I don't. Well, when did you realize, like, obviously you went viral and that's when you realized it started to kind of take off, but when did you realize it was something more than just braiding your daughter's hair?
Yeah, I think like early on, I realized, it's like, and like someone asked me to like recently, they're like, have you gotten like, is there any like dads who are just like, this is the woman's job, and stuff. And I'm like, actually, there's only been one. There's one guy that was just like, that's the woman's job, and everyone just like pounced on him and stuff. But I was like, there's really like the biggest like kind of like frustration is from women because and I'll just say my wife was the first one to say this, is rightfully so. It's like, oh, he's getting all this praise for doing something that women have been doing forever without any, recognition. And yes, my wife was the first to make that blatantly clear to me. She's like, man, this guy makes 10 videos and just goes bananas with this. And I will say, like, of course. And that's what I want all of this to change. I want it to be so that it's not novel. Like, if you're a dad and you got a girl, like, it's nice to be able to do more than a ponytail. Because like my wife, like she grew up in, her parents split, and she said like, days that she was staying at her dad's, like her dad didn't know how to do anything, like, and there's like self-confidence. She would go to school and she's like, I don't like how I look. And that is serious, And so maybe you can try a little harder. And if that was the norm, then, we wouldn't have to be saying like, oh, this guy's getting all this like accolades and recognition for something that women have done, forever without any trophies. So I would like for the world to go that way. I would like for dads to be more involved. And I think with the explosion of dad braids, it's just a sign that that's how it's trending. Yeah. It's like, hey, we are drifting that way. I've seen someone shared with me like some data about how millennial dads are 3 times more engaged in their kids' lives than their parents before. And I'm not here to blast other generations. I think each generation we're improving. And that was like the step they took. Like my dad's folks, like his dad beat him, like he hit him. And my dad broke that generational trend and trauma and never laid a hand on me. And that's something he did. And was he not great at other things? Of course. Yeah. But he broke that, and that's huge. And so with dad braids, I think like the braiding's great and fun, and it's very tactile, and it's great. But what I really want is for, I don't know, dads to just be a bit more involved with their kids' lives. And this is like a great opportunity to do that, And another thing I was thinking of recently is like, just to play stereotypical guys, it's like we're not good at just like sitting around talking about our emotions. We like to work with our hand. We're better with our tools than tea parties. Yeah. And so when you have a girl, there's going to be tea parties, and there's going to be talk maybe about feelings. And braiding is a perfect place to weave those together, because you get to use your hands and also just have like a moment with your girl and talk about the day, or talk about what's going on in her life and how she's feeling about stuff, and you sharing how you're feeling about stuff. Yeah. So it's this kind of like wonderful crossroads between being just like a guy and like having a daughter. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I remember this is a completely different outlook, but I have an older sister. But one of my favorite things growing up was my dad would go to work and my mom was busy in the morning, running around getting us ready to get dropped off at school. And my sister Morgan was straightening her hair at the time with just I don't know what you call it, but a hair straightener. And she taught me how to do it. So then every morning I was straightening my sister's hair, and it was that time. Exactly. I could talk to my sister and kind of catch up on what's happening in her life. Even though we're at the same school, her life is completely different than what I'm going through. So it was a great connection point, and yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy the aspect of how, like, I don't know if you're meaning to do this, but the way that you talked about the community aspect with your murals kind of ties into you're creating this community of dads through Dad Braids, and you're kind of, I don't know, you're almost unintentionally weaving the community aspect and how that mural affects a community. It also, your Dad Braids brand and videos that you're putting out is affecting this whole new community, and you're developing this community with, I guess you could call it a mural, but it's a website and your videos and your projects. It's pretty cool.
Man, yeah, I never put that together, but I can see that. Yeah.
I might have just butchered that, but it was a thought.
I think that's good.
You're raising 2 kids. You have the rabbit hole. You have Dad Braids. How do you go about your day to have your time and stay grounded in your life?
Yeah. Oh man, with young kids, there's not much your time, especially when you're also like, you have a business. So, what has been fun with Dad Braids is that like I said, from the beginning, it's just like, I'm already doing this. Let me just throw the camera on and get it. But as I've gotten better, I've gotten much more, I've really fallen in love with like the editing and like the shots and like everything involved, which in turn makes the production time a lot longer. And so I kind of started to drift more into like too much Dad Braids, and are like, hey, like we got a job here. Like Dad Braids could be like a fun side project, but we got to work. So we got to work on the company. So right now, my son's about to start going to daycare, and we had just like a nanny who would be part-time with us to help out with him while he was little. And my wife goes into the city, 2-3 days a week, and then works from home. And, we both like, and that's kind of like also a big part of Dad Braids is like, just modern families. It's like, hey, I can do this and you pack lunches, and just like being able, instead of like everything just like falling on the woman, it's like, hey, I got that,
Yeah.
The more skills we all have, the better our family can help each other out. And so we keep rolling. And so my wife will go in some days, I'll go into the city some days to work at the rabbit hole. But man, with a little boy, because our daughter's kindergarten, and with a little boy, he's, like I told you on the break, like I know in 30 years, I will give all of my life savings just to be back one day right now in the body I have, with the kids the age they are and everything. So as much as I want to like just roll with the things that we want to accomplish with our company and everything, our creative pursuits, like I just know like it's not the season to go 100, so I'm enjoying my time that I get to have with my little almost 2-year-old. And, but as I say that's still hard. We're very excited about ways that we're going to grow the rabbit hole, and with projects I want with Dad Braids, but it's just, I got to just push them back and just stay true to family number one.
Yeah.
So time with my boy is number one, and he's going to start to step into daycare, which means probably 6 months from now, I'll have like most of my day back, and then I'll be cranking, and time for me is somewhere in there. I don't know. But again, like it's kind of how we started this talk, is like, I want to create a life for me and my family that's like, the lines are absolutely blurred between like art and life, creation and business. Like I want our kids to see a beautiful, well-lived life made from our creativity. Mm-hmm. And that's me and my wife's goal.
Nice.
And then you mentioned earlier, for like, this is kind of continuing it, but in terms of like time for yourself, like you mentioned earlier, how you thought about the kind of like braiding jujitsu idea when you were on a run. Is going running like one of those things that you're doing just for your own health.
Yeah. I was doing jujitsu until the baby was born, and then I'm on like a 2-year break with that. So I look forward to getting back into that. But having like a Tuesdays at 6 schedule is just it's not viable with our families like right now. But I look forward to getting back there. I loved like getting into jiu-jitsu, and then it came to a screeching halt. So I really loved that. I grew up wrestling, so I really loved that. And I love the outdoors. So I'll go out running a lot. Not a lot, a little bit, but it's great. It's like when I can really, I leave my phone. I am just like, I'm untethered. There's no like tech on me. I am just locked into my body, and I am listening to my breathing. And after a while, after a couple miles, that's when like ideas just start to hit. And that's like rabbit hole ideas, that's art ideas, that's dad braids, it's all stuff. It's like I get into it's a flow state, and that's anytime I can get into that. And that's like when I get in the studio and I am making art, that's the best.
Nice. Well, what do you hope to be doing 10 years from now?
10 years, man. I would like to be continuing storytelling in different capacities. I think we got really big plans for the rabbit hole, and it's just so fun and it's so meaningful. And I am excited to see kind of like where Dad Braids goes. I have no idea, but I'm not putting like anytime I have kind of drifted into like, I got to control this, and like, I can, like, surely I can make like a ton of money off this. And like, when I start to do that, like my gears tighten up and I just seize, and it just like stops. And then I have to like let it go and just have fun again. And then it flows. So I'm going to let Dad Braids just be a fun thing. It's just a gift. It's a gift, and it's touched so many lives, and I just want it to keep touching lives, and I just want to put it out there and change lives. And I don't know, I think 10 years from now, it would be great if me and my family were able to create together, to be able to travel together. It's really important to us to be able to see the world, experience different cultures. I think that's where the biggest education has happened in my life, is when I've traveled and seen other perspectives. So I think if we're able to give our kids the world and they see us do it from creativity, and that's a good life.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, can you tell the people where they can find you?
Oh, all right. So all the central point maybe would be my website, striderpatton.com. It's got my art. It's got links to Dad Braids and the rabbit hole, and then dadbraids.com if you're out there wanting to learn to braid or grab a cool toolbox. But I got some big plans with like I said, Dad Braids, maybe glowing with like local chapters around the world or something. On socials, Strider Patton or Dad Braids.
And awesome. The rabbit hole.
And the rabbit hole, therabbitholetheater.com for the best pretend play, puppet shows, and imagination in the Bay Area.
With the #1 puppeteer that I know.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come bullshit with us.
Thank you.
It was an honor, guys. You guys have had some really awesome guests. I need to make it through more of your episodes, but I think it's really cool what you're doing here.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're making this community stronger together just by sitting down and giving people space to share their stories. So thanks for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Sweet. Strider Patton, the man, the myth, the legend, the Dad Braider. Okay, well, welcome back. This is the recap for Strider Patton, a.k.a. Dad's Braids, a.k.a. the Rabbit Hole Man. Super well-spoken, and kind of caught both of us off guard because you never really know how well-spoken somebody's going to be, but Strider is just, he carries himself really well.
Yeah, and just incredibly nice. And I failed to do, I guess, my part in research, and he was insanely cool. Mm-hmm. Insanely cool.
Yeah, and the way that he's going about it too is really cool. Like he's really stressing on the point of connection with your daughter within Dad's Braids, Dad Braids. And that's just really cool because I feel like it's really easy to get caught up in the fact that he's just braiding hair, but he's like, no, this opens up a whole new avenue of ways to communicate with your child.
And I love the fact that he's so against like the kind of like the child actor vibes that you get from a lot of these kind of like parent run kid accounts where they're like showing off their, I don't know, too young to be just thrown all over the internet kids. And I like his approach where he's like, yeah, I don't want that, you know?
Yeah. And it is really cool within people that have like a big following in any aspect. Like you look at people like, I don't know, for example, Justin Bieber. Like Justin Bieber has a kid, but he's not showing the kid's face anywhere, which is kind of tells you something. It's like,
yeah,
why would you want to do that? It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I mean, from being like a ski bum doing school in Colorado and then working in restaurants to then making it into like the SF art scene. I mean, just a really cool progression to his life and career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, the whole mural side of his life is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like traveling all over the world to go do murals is a feat.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool how he was talking about how like a client will be like, yeah, but I want this and this. And he's like, okay, this actually is not for me. Like,
it's this guy.
Here are some other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool.
I feel like that's exactly how kind of like the art community should be, where it's like, I'm not going to stretch myself to try to do something I'm not really good at. Instead, like, here's my friend that's good at that stuff.
Yeah.
And you just got to hope that that comes back around to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, being a good person, I feel like will always get you somewhere.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then the whole point, the whole point behind him talking about with murals, you know, people coming in, these big named artists just plopping into a town, doing a painting that means nothing and leaving. And then he's like, well, that's not the type of mural that I like to do.
Yeah.
And it was cool to kind of hear his similarities to someone like Julie Engelman. But yeah, that was, I thought that.
And he brought us brownies.
Brownies.
Awesome.
When that camera cuts, we're going to freaking hammer them.
Well, thanks for listening to Between Shifts podcast. That was our Strider Patton recap.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
See you soon.
Catch you next time. Bye.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, we're brought to you by Bikeworks HMB, your one-stop shop for bike service, sales, and rentals in Half Moon Bay, California. Whether you're on the mountain, road, or low on battery, Bikeworks HMB has your back. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support this podcast, please feel free to reach out to us at betweenshiftspod@gmail.com. The link will be in the description. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. GT, signing off.